It started with something small, the kind of lie you tell yourself is harmless. "I'm going out with Claire," I said that night, slipping my heels on as I checked my reflection in the mirror. My husband, Ethan, barely looked up from the couch. "Claire again? You've been seeing her a lot lately." I smiled, adjusting my earrings. "Yeah, she's going through a rough time. I just want to be there for her." He nodded, trusting. That's the thing about Ethan. He's steady, predictable, the kind of man who believes the people he loves. But I wasn't going to see Claire. I was going to see Daniel. Daniel was complicated. He'd started as a co-worker, someone I could vent over coffee about late meetings and feeling invisible at home. But over time, those coffees turned into dinners into excuses, and excuses into something I didn't recognize anymore. That night wasn't supposed to mean anything. It was supposed to be one of those fleeting, reckless moments that you bury deep enough to forget. The restaurant was dimly lit, tucked in a part of the city Ethan rarely visited. Daniel was already there, sitting at the bar, that familiar half-smile on his face. "You look incredible," he said, standing to kiss my cheek. His hand lingered a second too long. "Thanks," I murmured, glancing around. "I can't stay long." He laughed softly. "You always say that." We ordered wine, shared small talk that danced around everything we didn't want to name. The guilt, the thrill, the quiet ache of knowing I was somewhere I shouldn't be. But even as he spoke, my phone buzzed in my purse. Ethan's name lit up the screen. I froze. "How's Claire doing? Should I keep dinner warm for you?" I typed back quickly. "She's okay. Don't wait up." It was automatic, the lies slipping out like muscle memory. I turned my phone face down, trying to focus on Daniel's voice, but my heart was beating too fast. Halfway through the evening, Daniel suggested we move to the lounge next door. "They've got live jazz tonight," he said. "You'll love it." I hesitated. "It's too risky." He smiled, teasing. "You think your husband going to walk into a jazz bar on a Thursday night?" I exhaled against better judgment and followed him. The lounge was dim, the music low and sultry. A saxophone cried somewhere near the stage. We found a corner table, tucked in the shadows. For a while, I forgot the world outside that room existed. We laughed, whispered, shared quiet glances that said more than words ever could. But then it happened. The air shifted. A voice from across the room laughed, deep and familiar. My body went cold before I even turned my head. No, it couldn't be. But it was. Ethan, standing by the bar, a drink in his hand, his eyes scanning the crowd, until they landed on me. The moment froze. The music kept playing, but all I could hear was a pounding of my heart. He didn't look angry. He didn't look shocked. He just looked at me, steady, silent. I couldn't breathe. My hands trembled as I reached for my glass, pretending to be casual, but Daniel noticed instantly. "What's wrong?" he asked, leaning closer. I couldn't answer. I just kept staring at Ethan, willing him to look away, to pretend he hadn't seen me. But he didn't. He took one slow sip of his drink, set the glass down, and walked toward the exit. And in that moment, I knew everything was about to fall apart. Daniel glanced over his shoulder. "Who was that?" "My husband," I whispered, my voice barely audible. He froze. "You said he was at home. He was supposed to be..." I stood up too fast, the chair scraping the floor. My pulse roared in my ears. Ethan was already gone, the door swinging shut behind him. Daniel tried to grab my arm. "Lena, wait. Think this through." But I couldn't. I rushed outside into the cool night air, scanning the street, but he wasn't there. Just empty sidewalks and the faint sound of traffic. I called his phone once, straight to voicemail. My throat tightened. The lie, the one I'd told so casually, had finally caught me. And now, I had no idea what I was going home to. When I got home, the house was dark. Ethan's car was in the driveway, but the lights inside were off. For a moment, I just stood at the front door, my key trembling in my hand. Every part of me screamed to turn around, to drive somewhere, anywhere else. But guilt doesn't let you escape. It drags you back to the scene you try to rewrite. I stepped inside. The faint scent of his cologne lingered in the air. The kitchen counter was spotless, dinner untouched, the way he'd left it when I told him not to wait up. "Ethan?" I called softly. No response. I found him in the living room, sitting on the couch in the dark, the glow of a single lamp falling over him. His posture was calm, too calm. He looked up when he heard me. "Have fun with Claire?" he asked. His tone was flat, unrecognizable. I swallowed hard. "Ethan, He stood before I could finish. I thought about calling you, about asking where you really were. But then I realized I already knew." My chest tightened. "Ethan, please, it's not what you think." He laughed, short and sharp. "Then what is it, Lena?" Because from where I was standing, it looked exactly like what I think. Tears burned behind my eyes. "It wasn't supposed to." "Supposed to what?" he interrupted. "Happen? Be seen? Be real?" The silence that followed was suffocating. I tried to reach for him, but he stepped back. "Don't," he said quietly. "Just don't." For years, Ethan had been a calm in every storm, the patient one, the man who forgave small mistakes without hesitation. But the look in his eyes that night wasn't anger. It was something far worse. Disbelief. He turned toward the hallway. "You don't have to explain, Lena. I don't want a story. I just want the truth for once." My voice trembled. "It was a mistake. I swear it was just dinner. I didn't." He exhaled slowly, cutting me off again. "You lied to my face before you even left the house. That wasn't a mistake. That was a choice." His words were quiet, but they hit harder than any shout could. "I didn't mean to hurt you," I whispered. He finally looked at me, and I wished he hadn't, because in his eyes I saw the moment love turned into something unrecognizable. "I know," he said. "You just didn't care enough not to." He walked into our bedroom, and I followed, desperate to fix something I couldn't even name. His suitcase was already on the bed, half-packed. "No," I said, my voice cracking. "Please, don't do this. We can talk, we can fix it." He shook his head. "Lena, I spent years trusting you without question. I thought we had the kind of marriage that could survive anything. Turns out, it couldn't even survive a Thursday night." I started crying. Not the kind that begs for forgiveness, but the kind that realizes forgiveness might never come. "Where will you go?" I asked, my voice breaking. "Somewhere that doesn't remind me of tonight," he said quietly. "Somewhere I can breathe." He zipped the bag, paused, and looked around the room one last time. "You know what hurts the most?" he said. "You didn't even look surprised to see me there. You just looked afraid of getting caught." I had no defense. When he walked out the door, he didn't slam it. He just left. The kind of leaving that sounds final because it is. The days that followed blurred together. People say time heals, but time doesn't heal lies. It just makes you sit with them long enough to realize what you lost. Claire stopped by once, asking if I was okay. I lied again, told her it was just a fight. I didn't have the strength to say the truth aloud. Weeks passed before I heard from Ethan. A single text. "I've filed the papers. Please don't contact me." I stared at it for hours, reading it over and over until my screen dimmed. That night, I went back to the jazz lounge. The same table, the same music. Only this time, I sat alone. The band played a slow tune, the one that had been playing when I'd first seen him across the room. I realized something then. The lie hadn't destroyed us. The silence afterward had. I whispered his name once, softly, into the dim light, knowing he wouldn't hear it. Then I stood up, left cash on the table, and walked out into the cold night, the same kind of night that had started it all. But this time there was no thrill, no excitement, just a heavy truth that some moments can't be undone, no matter how much you wish they could. And for the rest of my life, I'd remember that night, the night I lied about where I was and found the truth staring back at me from across the room.